Hi guys. I have a bathing suit cover up on, so I'm not naked.
This is an exciting meeting.
Yeah, it's not quite like that today. I shouldn't have. So thank you for jumping on. I didn't mean to plan these meetings so close together, or our team calls so close to this, but this is the only time that Aaron could jump on for us. So I thought we'll take it. So hopefully he can make it. Jillian, nice job.
Thank you. Thank you.
That was so helpful.
I was so nervous.
You did awesome. Couldn't even tell. You rocked it.
Thanks.
So Jen and Aaron are traveling, so I'm just going to make sure that they got this information. Hi, Kristen.
Hi.
Oh my gosh, guys, sorry.
Hi, Aaron.
How's it going?
Good.
So, I'll admit I'm like old person, new with technology when it comes to Zoom. So, what do I have to? I just click share screen, and then you guys just see my screen.
I think, is your wife there? Because she kind of knew how to do that, so I didn't look into it too much.
Okay, I'll figure it out. Hold on. I'm going to click.
Hi, Melissa. Hello, everybody.
All right.
I have a bathing suit cover up on, just so you know.
Oh, okay.
I can't hear anything.
If you can't
So can you guys just see my screen now? Or no?
Yeah. Yes, we can.
Okay, perfect. Are we waiting for more people, or do you want me just to get rolling?
Just get rolling. You know, I am recording, from all I know, I am recording this so that anybody will be able to view it after.
Awesome. So I apologize too. I'm outside at Jimmy John's in Wisconsin Dells. This was the best place I could find to do it. I tried to go into Starbucks and they had like loud music and stuff, so I just came out here. So can you hear all that background talking?
Hi, Crystal. Hi. No, you know, we can hear you fine. Just continue to talk loud. We all have lives, kids, dogs, whatever.
Got it. Okay. So, yeah, I really am honored you guys asked me to be on the call today. So I'm talking about executive leadership skills. My name's Aaron Byer, for those who don't know me. And if you want to copy down my email address, just if questions come up afterwards, or if you ever want to reach out, just go ahead and do that. Otherwise, feel free to reach out to me on Facebook as well.
So really quickly, for everybody else, if you could mute your microphones right now so we only hear Aaron's, that would be awesome. There should be a button that can mute your audio, just so you know.
Okay, so again, I'm going to be talking about executive leadership pools. Just click. The things I'll be talking about is where to find your pool details reports. And I suggest while I'm going through this, if you want to bring up, even if you're not a director or executive yet, still view your report, and it might help you understand kind of what I'm talking about. But yeah, so if you, when I get there, you might want to bring it up. I'll be talking about how to read your pool details report, specific pool details between like the director, executive, and then the 2-star plus pools. How to maximize the pools, and then I'll just open it up for questions. If it's something I didn't cover, or you want me to go into more detail about something I touched on, feel free to ask them at that time. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is finding your detail reports. I'm going to start with the director pools, and I'll work up from there. So the only place you can find the director pool details report is in the contest and promotions tab. And you'll see just down there, you can see on the screen, the director leadership pools. I got an arrow pointing there. So the director pool details, that will show your current month, how you're doing in the director pools. And then you can also view your previous month. So that's nice because once the month starts, you know, if you want to see how you did, that's where you're going to want to look into there. Look at that just to see how many shares you earned for the month. Executive pool details, same thing. You're going to be in the contest and promotions tab. And then you can see there it has the executive leadership pool. I'm actually going to zoom up there just so it's a little easier to see. So again, we have our executive pool details. So you're going to have, for the executive pool details, that's going to be essentially your 1 star, but as soon as you hit executive, that will be the first pool you plan. So those first 2 are going to be your current month, and then the executive pool details previous month, which is your previous month report. And then same thing for 2-star and above, you're going to have your 2-star report for the current month. And then below that, the 2-star plus pool previous month is just, again, the previous month. Pretty self-explanatory, but both of those are in the contest and promotions tab. The other place you can find your executive pool details report is under your team tab. It doesn't matter, it's any view, but if you just go to team, I usually use, view placement tree, or I'm doing view my team. And then you'll scroll down to my downline activity, and you'll be able to view your current 2-star pools detail report and your current 1-star pool, essentially just the executive pools report. And that's only going to be for your current month. So, if we start that new month and you want to see your total shares, that's when you're going to have to go to that contest and promotions and view your previous report just to see how you did in the previous month. And the cool thing about this too is this allows you to view your team members' reports. So if you're helping them figure out how many shares they're earning, or just figure out how they're doing or where they need to get to, this is where you just kind of click into them just like you would on your tree when you're checking people's cycles. Go to their downline activity, you can get the report. And again, if you're just jumping on, please mute your lines so it's just people can hear me talking. So now I'm going to break down how to read your pool details report. You're probably wondering, Aaron, we just want to learn how to make money. Well, in my opinion, understanding how to read the report is going to, you need to know that to figure out how to maximize the pools. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is your net cycle benchmark. That's going to be this top section on your report, and essentially all that for the director and the 1-star report. So your director pools and your executive leadership, the first round of the executive leadership pools, your 1-star bonus pools, they work the same way. So if you're in the director pools, when you get to executive, it's going to work exactly the same. So net cycle benchmark, they take a 4-week average to create this benchmark for you. And for you to earn shares, you need to surpass that benchmark each week. And essentially what this does is it levels the playing field. So the best way I can explain it is if, let's say you have, there's another person who's a 1-star in the pools, they're cycling, 12 times a week. That's their average. And you're only maybe cycling 4 times a week. This allows it so that person isn't going to just earn way more shares than you. Because essentially for them to earn shares, they have to cycle more than 12 times in a week, where you only have to cycle more than, if you're using my example off the report, I'm showing you 7. So it really, it doesn't just mean that people cycling more are going to earn more money. You actually, the lower your benchmark, have the potential to earn more shares, earn more money in the pools. So that's a good thing, the lower your benchmark when you get into it. The next section I'm going to talk about is this personal net cycle growth. So again, you can see there in the benchmark column, that's just showing that 4-week average that got established in the first section. And each week is going to show you, essentially this shows you how many shares you've earned. So you can see, that first week I cycled 8 times, 1 over my benchmark. I only would have earned, if I was playing in the pools, would have earned 1 share. And then you can see week 3, I cycled 13 times. That's 6 over that benchmark of 7. So that week I earned 6. So for that whole month, I pulled this from July, I would have earned 11 shares that month. If I was an executive every day of the week, or if you're in the director pools, if I would have been a director every day of the week.
Can you really quickly, Aaron, can you expand on that to help people understand, just since I feel like it's good timing, how do they qualify to be in those pools for that week? Like, what do they need to be doing?
Yeah, I'll get to that. I'll get to that later.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Yeah, totally fine.
So yeah, if you're wondering what you need to, I'm going to touch on all that. later in the presentation. So right now I'm just breaking down the report so you guys kind of understand when we move to those next areas. So again, it's just showing shares earned per week. And then you can see at the bottom, it just accumulates for the month. That total will keep building up. And it is possible to earn negative shares. So this just say one of the weeks I would have cycled 5 times. I would have actually earned negative cycles for that week. Okay, then second is your weekly qualification. So this just shows you what pools you qualified for. So you can see on mine, I'm at like a consultant status, so I did not qualify it for any pools in July. So if it was, let's say you were an executive for the week, your pool there is going to show executive pool. Or if you're a director, under pool it will show director. So this lets you know, and you can participate in multiple pools per month. So you might have 1 week at director and then 3 weeks at executive, or 2 weeks at executive, 2 weeks at director. This bottom section was kind of confusing, and this took me a little bit of time to figure it out when we first started playing in the pools. But essentially, it's just a math equation that calculates your shares. And I'm just going to give an example to really show you how this works. So we're going to show here, we're just going to pretend that I qualified as an executive for 3 weeks and director for 1 week. So you can see week 1, we're going to pretend I was an executive, and I would be participating in the executive pool. Week 2, again, I'm an executive participating in the executive pool. Week 3, I had a consultant drop off. So I dropped to a director in week 3. I would participate in the director pool. In the 4th week, again, I got back to executive, and I'm going to play in the executive pool again that 4th week. And what I'm calculating here at the bottom is just going to be my executive shares only, not my director shares. So this first section here is, it's just what it says. I'm going to take my total. So from that section 2 where it accumulated each week, my shares, the total was 11, if you remember. So it's going to take 11 divided by the weeks in the month. So this week, or this month, we had 4 weeks in the pool cycle. All the pools go off a 4-4-5 schedule. So you're going to have a 4 week month, a 4 week month, and then a 5 week month, and then the cycle starts over again. So all this stuff, essentially figure out your average cycle per week for the month. So my average cycle per week for the month of July, or your average shares per week. So your average shares, my average shares per week was 2.75. So again, average shares per week. So this next section, I don't know why it said I qualified 4 weeks, because I qualified 0. But it's going to take my average, which was 2.75, and it's going to multiply it by the weeks I qualified. So you can see there I numbered them out. I was an executive for 3 weeks. So it's going to take my 2.75 multiplied by 3, and put it there at the bottom, equals 8.25. That would round down to 8 shares for the month of July if I had been an executive for 3 weeks. And then the remaining, I had 11 there. Those are remaining 3 shares I would have got paid out in the director pool. So again, if you have questions on this, just wait to the end. I can explain this. But once you kind of break down that equation, it's a little easier to understand. Okay, so now I'm going to go into some specifics on the pools, and this should answer the questions that Laura just asked me about, kind of asking how you participate in each pool. So I pulled this right from the Isogenics webpage. If you go under contests and promotions, and there's a flyer for each pool. So the director pool has its own flyer, and then the executive pools have their own flyer as well with a lot of information. So I would suggest after this call, you review those flyers, because it's kind of hard to understand, but once somebody starts breaking it down for you, they're a little easier. So for the director pools, to qualify, you have to be on auto ship, and you have to be paid as director for every day of the week. So that's really important. You can't have one day, if one of your consultants drops off one day that week, you get disqualified, you lose out that whole week for getting paid shares at the end of the month. And you have to increase your personal cycles for the entire month by at least 2. So you can earn up to, so essentially what they do is there isn't like a set price for the director pools or the one-star pools. What they do for the director pools, there's $75,000. They total up all the shares for that month and divide it into the 75,000 to determine the share price. And then they pay those out. You can see there how it works. Once you've qualified to participate in the director leadership pool, you'll need to, okay, I'm not going to keep reading, that's pretty self-explanatory. But there you see the breakdown. So that would be like section 2 of your report. There's a breakdown per week. It shows the benchmark, cycles earned, and then the net cycle growth is the shares you accumulate through the month. So in that example, the person earned 7 shares in the director pool. And then another big key stat there at the bottom, you'll see you can only participate in the director pools for 3 months. So I always tell my people, I know we do the resets sometimes, or Isogenics does the resets where you can get those bonuses. Don't cheat to get the $750 bonus, because if you happen to earn any shares, let's just say 1 week you earn director shares, and then you lose your director status, it's like, yeah, I earned my $750 bonus. The money you're going to earn in the pools is going to be a lot more than that $750. So just, I know a lot of times it doesn't go as fast as you want, but it's more important to build it right. And if you miss the bonus, you're going to more than make up for it in the director pools. You just want to make sure once you hit director, you're going to stay director. Same thing with the executive. When you hit executive, you want to stay at executive. So just remember that once you earn shares, your clock starts. You have 3 months to make money in the director pools. Executive pool, again, be on auto ship, paid as executive for at least 1 full week. And you have to make sure, again, it's every day. So if you're an executive for 6 out of the 7 days, if one day you lose your executive status, you miss out on that week for the month to earn shares. Same as the director pool, you have to just increase your, essentially for the whole month, just increase your personal cycles by 2 over that benchmark. And like the director pool, so they have for the executive pool, it's $125,000 per month. They take the total shares earned, divide the 125 by all those shares earned, and that's how they calculate the share price each month. And we have that same example of how we earn shares. You can see that in week 3, the person actually earned negative shares. So they earned 10 cycles minus the 2, they got 8 that month. And then the same like I was talking about for executive. Once you get to executive, you want to stay there because you only can earn shares for the first 6 months. So if you just say you get to executive, you earn shares 1 week, and then you lose that executive status. If you don't get back there, you're losing all that time that you could have been earning money in the executive pools. If that doesn't make sense, just ask the question at the end. I'll go over that again.
Yeah, please make sure you're writing down any questions because we will have time to answer them. Just be writing them down. Thank you.
Yeah. Laura, did that make sense? How was the 6 months? Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Did I explain that okay?
And I wish I would have known. See, this is why I feel like a terrible leader because I wasn't on top of this stuff, but now we will be, and it's all okay.
Yeah, and just so you guys know, one reason I love the Isogenics comp plan, and I especially love the pools, and kind of like Laura and my wife Jen and I first started playing in them, we didn't know what we were doing, and we just lost out on a lot of money because we didn't understand how it worked. So for my team, I just make sure I'm doing calls. I just want everybody on my team and to understand the bonus pools so they can maximize them. That's one reason I'm really passionate about doing presentations like this and talking about them. And kind of like Lori, just kind of like learned the hard way by missing out. It's kind of like people called and it's like, hey, you could have earned this much money if you'd have done this. And I was like, oh, darn it. So yeah, I love talking about it. So reach out to me anytime. All right, I'll keep going. So 2-star plus pools. And once you hit 2-star, the bonus pools work essentially the same. But you see the key, kind of that reoccurring theme being on auto ship. You're doing the business. That's a key. You want to be on auto ship. Paid as executive. For this one, is you need to be paid as executive for at least 2 weeks and hit the 20 or more cycles each of those weeks. So it's to qualify for 2-star or above, again, just to recap, you'd need 2 weeks or more at 20 or above cycles. And if you hit 20 or more cycles, those are the weeks you'd have to be at executive. These last things are kind of confusing. I'm going to go more in details on these later. But to qualify for the 2- and 3-star pools, you need to increase your personal cycles by at least 10. That's a cumulative 10 for the entire month. And then once you get to 4-star and beyond, it's a cumulative 20 for the entire month. So essentially that's just in there to ensure people are still growing and not just kind of sitting there earning money off their while maybe they have a power leg and their team's just earning money for them. So you do need some personal growth, but your shares are actually, when you get to the 2-star and beyond, the changes from earning director and executive, you earn shares by your cycles. Once you get to the 2-star and beyond, you earn shares by your team cycling. So that's that last bullet point there. Help your first 4 levels of personally enrolled associates, also known as your 4 PET, grow their team bonus cycles to earn in the pool. So I'll talk about 4 PET later. Again, here's a breakdown. Just like the executive pools, you're going to have a benchmark of your 4 PET. And each week, you're going to earn shares depending on how many cycles your team earned. And then there's also known, again, and this is something I'll touch on more, you're eligible for a double or triple share price in the first 3 months as a 2- or 3-star pool. So this is really key, especially if you want to make that push for Maui for the top achievers. You really need to just take advantage of that double and triple when you first get into the 2 and 3-star pool.
Can you just say that one more time? Oh, wait, you had it at the bottom. Never mind.
Yeah, yep. And again, I'll talk about how to qualify for the double and triple when I talk more specifically about the 2 and 3-star pool.
Cool.
And how to kind of maximize earning shares in those pools. And this is just an example. I'm not going to break this down like I did for the 1-star executive bonus pool, but this is an example of the 2-star bonus pool. Just some changes I'll point out. The director in the 1-star bonus pool had a 4-week benchmark. The 2-star and above has a 13-week benchmark. And then again, the main difference is instead of earning shares off your personal cycles, you're earning shares off your team's 4 PET cycles. So again, that's essentially 4 layers down from your personally enrolled. That's how you earn shares by those people cycling. Okay, so now how to maximize the pools. So first I'm going to talk about the director and 1-star executive pools just because, like I said earlier, essentially how you earn money is essentially the same. There's a few minor differences between the pools, but the share earnings the same. So shares are based on your personal cycle growth. So again, you just want to, once you get into those pools, you just want to do what you can to boost your cycles to earn shares. Momentum is key in the bonus pools. The more momentum you have, the more shares you will earn. And that really gets back to that benchmark. Again, if someone's cycling more, but their business has kind of plateaued, their benchmark is higher. You have that lower benchmark. If you got momentum, you're going to be able to earn more shares. So it's kind of the faster your cycles grow, the faster your team is growing, the more you're going to get above those benchmarks that are set. It's easier for those with a power leg. So what I mean by that is this, just say you have one side that just seems like you have that like endless points. And the reason it's easier is you can just kind of focus on one side to grow your personal cycles.
I didn't have a power leg though. So just so you know, for people who are not out there who had power legs, totally doable.
Yeah, it is. It is totally doable. And what I'm going to talk about in the 2-star pool, the people who don't have those power legs, is actually better when you get to this 2-star pools.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Thanks.
Yeah. So again, the big difference between the 2-star and above and the executive and director is you earn shares based on the cycle on the cycle growth of your first 4 levels of your personally enrolled team. So that's your 4 PET. Again, it goes back to momentum. So unlike the director and the 1-star pools where it's the momentum you have, here's where it comes into your team, where you're going to just kind of change that and start pouring into your team, because for the 2-star pools and beyond, it's momentum of your team versus you. And the more momentum your team has, the more shares you will earn. And this is kind of what Laura was talking about. So those who have built without a power leg will have an advantage. So the reason is if you have a power leg, a lot of the people over there might not be your personally enrolled. So when you get to the 2-star pools, it's like you might have high cycles, but you're not necessarily getting that full potential of the 4 PET. Whereas if you've had to build both sides, it might take you a little longer, but once you get to 2-star and you have momentum, essentially all those cycles happening under you are shares for you. So I hope, Laura, does that make sense? Okay, so again, it might take you a little long. It doesn't have to. It doesn't have to take you longer, but it might. But for those who might be discouraged where you think you're building by yourself, that's actually a good thing when you get to the 2-star pools, and it's going to be worth the work. So in some of that money, maybe you, well, like I said, it might take longer. You're going to make it up when you get to the bonus pools. And then when you first hit the double pool, the 2-star pools, like I talked about, you have the chance to double and triple your shares in the first 3 months. So how that works is you have to increase your personal cycle growth by 15 to 20. So that's cumulative through the entire month. So you're earning shares off your 4 PET, but you're growing your personal cycles is what determines your double or triple. So again, you have that benchmark. If you look at your 2-star report, you have that personal cycle benchmark. That's what you need to grow. So if you can increase that by 15 or 20 cumulative over the entire month, you'll earn double share price.
So this is why participating in Blitz Weeks can be very helpful in earning shares. Yep. As long as it's sustained month after month. Like, yeah, right?
Yep. And yeah, I mean, all it takes is if you just have one huge week, that might qualify you for that double or triple. So, and then to triple, it's just getting over 21 or more, increasing your personal cycle growth by 21 or more to triple. So just to give you an idea, right now, the share prices change from time to time. I've seen them go down, I've seen them go up. For a long time, they were $6 for the 2 to 3-star pool. And now they've been recently, I think in like April maybe, they got raised to $15 a share. So it went from 6 to 15. So if you were just getting into the 2 and 3-star pools and you triple, every time a team member in your 4 PET cycles, you're earning $45 if you get to that triple. So that's really important to look at. That's why you need to monitor your report. Like, you should know, what do I need to get to my personal cycles to triple? And if you're running specials or something for your team during that Blitz week, essentially anytime anyone cycles in that 4 PET, you're earning $45 each cycle. So, when you're getting down to that 4th level, that's a big deal because it's all going to accumulate up. Again, hopefully that makes sense. If not, I can touch on it more during the questions portion. So, and this is key, like I said, that trip to Maui, you can essentially qualify for that, earning I think it's $15,000 in the 2-star or above pools by, I think, end of February 2016. You can, if you have momentum, you can get that done, qualify for that top achievers in those first 3 months, or at least get pretty damn close. Okay, questions. I'll just kind of open it up now and let you guys fire away.
Okay, I have a question.
Hi.
Oh.
Hi, Kristen.
So for 2-star, 20 cycles for 2 weeks, does it have to be consecutive, or you hit it once and then the second time you hit 20 cycles is when your 3 months starts to double or triple?
So it doesn't have to be consecutive. It just has to be in that, during that that month. So you could hit 20 cycles week 1 and 20 cycles week 4 of the month, and you qualify that month then for the pools.
Okay, I hit 20 cycles in April and then again in June. So
Okay, so that doesn't qualify. It's got to be in the same month.
Okay, so I am not yet playing in the two-star pool. Got it.
No. Yeah. And you have to monitor that. And that's changed. Like for a long time, this is what happened to Jen and I. The rule used to be you could play in multiple pools. So if you were an executive for the whole month, and let's just say you hit two-star 1 week, then they would say like, well, you didn't hit the 2 weeks, but being you're an executive and you're in the one-star pools before, they gave us 1 week. And I changed that. I think it was just confusing. It was kind of confusing in the rules. So I probably confused people. I didn't need to bring that up. But all I want to point out is the rules change a lot on the bonus pools. So I would say when you hit when you have 2 weeks where you hit 20 cycles in the same month,
okay,
get a call with Laura or get a call with someone else on your team who's experienced and kind of review the current executive rules and just make sure you understand. Like, make sure it's the same and nothing's changed. But, yeah, that's all I would suggest. But, yeah, right now it's 2 times in 1 month.
2 times in 1 month, and that'll get me into
and matches don't count. It's got to be 20 actual cycles. So.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you so much for clarifying that.
Yeah, no problem.
Hi, Erin. It's Lindsay Hoffer. I'm on the phone, not a computer. So nice to hear you, not see you. Hey, a little bit more clarification maybe on the triple and double. Okay.
On the double and triple?
Yeah, yes, I'm
going to page back to where I had the 2-star report.
Okay.
Just to talk about it there. So.
Okay, thank you.
This is the showing right now. It's a 2-star report. So I wish I had a full report, but this will work. So if you look under that personal net cycle growth, you see that the third section down?
Yeah.
Okay. So for there, you have a benchmark. My cycle benchmark is 8. So for the 4th in August, a cumulative, if I want, let's just say I'm not playing in the 2-star pools, but if I were, I'd want to have that net cycle growth be 21 or higher to get triple. So you don't earn shares on your personal cycles, but that's what determines if you make it. So the main rule for the 2-star pools is at a minimum, you have to increase that by 10 for the entire month. And then to get the double, it'd have to be 15 or higher total for the entire month, 21 or higher there to triple for the entire month.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Okay. And does that vary based on the pools? Like, what's the same example for the 4 to 6-star pool?
You can't double or triple in the 4 to 6. The only time you can double is the only time you double is the first 3 months of the 2 and 3-star pools.
Gotcha. That's where I'm. Okay, perfect. That makes sense.
Okay, so that's why when you have people getting close to 2-star, you really have to sit down with them and you want them hitting that point with momentum.
Love it. Okay.
Because they're, again, just like with the director pools and the executive pools, once they hit the 2-star pools, they qualify. That 3-month clock starts for the double and triple.
Okay. Gotcha. Momentum. Got it. Thank you.
Yep.
Going back to to Kristen's question really fast. So she hit 2-star back in April and she hit it again in June. But in order to start the clock for the tripling, she has to hit it twice in 1 month.
Correct. So she hasn't earned any shares in the 2-star pool, so she does it twice.
Got it.
Okay, this is Ashley Ness. I have a question.
Hi, Ashley.
Hi. Okay, so I know there's, like you said, 3 months in the director pool, 6 months in the executive and 1-star. Is there a time limit on the 2 to 3 and above also?
There is no time limit once you hit the 2-star. The key is, again, that personal net cycle growth. So if you're not growing your personal cycles, you won't qualify. So let's say cumulative for the entire month, you're in the 2 and 3-star pools. Let's say you only grow your personal cycles by 8. It doesn't matter how many shares you have, you won't earn shares that month. Isogenics wants you growing your team by that 10 cycles at least a month. And then once you hit 4-star and above, you have to increase your personal cycles by 20 for the entire month, or you don't earn any shares.
Okay. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Hi, Erin. It's Noah.
Hi, Katie.
Uh,
How's Jim doing?
he's doing good. He signed on and then he said, "This is over my head. You're going to have to explain it to me later." So he's good.
I'm having a little trouble hearing you, just so you know, but I'll do my best to answer your question.
Can you hear me better?
Yeah, it's just kind of fuzzy. You might want to, I would maybe disconnect and reconnect back in.
Okay, let me see here.
It sounds like you have a bad connection. You sound like you're on Star Wars or something.
Oh, is this better?
Okay, just go. I can answer. I can hear you.
Okay. Well, my question is, okay, so for example, how Kristen stated when she hit 2-star in April, but she didn't yet qualify for the 2-star pool.
So does her 3 months start ticking the day that she hit 2-star the first time, or does it not start ticking until she actually qualifies for a month in the pool?
Yeah, it won't. The clock won't start till you actually earn shares. So to earn shares, you have to hit 20 cycles in 2 weeks of the same month, the same bonus cycle month.
That makes sense. Okay,
yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, so you can actually hit 2-star, get the 2-star bonus, but you're not in the 2-star pools.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. You sound a lot better now, and say hi to Jim when you see him.
I will.
All right.
And sorry, I have a follow-up question, Kristen, again.
Okay.
I'm seeing I have 2-star reports under the executive tab under contest. So I guess that's what threw me off. Is so it looks like that I could be earning shares, but I am not.
Yeah, I mean, I would say if you have questions, contact Isagenix just to get a clear answer. But if you haven't cycled 20 times, actually hit 20 cycles 2 times in a month, you haven't earned shares. So you're a 2-star. You can totally be a 2-star. You're just not in that pool until you do it twice in a month.
Awesome. So does that mean – go ahead.
At the bottom, it'll say what you're qualified as. It might be the 2-star report, but at the bottom, it'll say 1-star, golden.
Yeah, so going back, hold on. I'll go back to my – oh, my gosh. Okay, there. So you can see here, Kristen, your weekly qualification. There in the pool will tell you if you hit. So the pool you hit 2-star, if you get 20 cycles 1 week, it kind of just – until you get there, you lose a week of shares, if that makes sense.
It does.
So for the executive, you get 3 weeks qualified versus the 4.
Okay, I was just confused why I could see it if I wasn't playing in that pool. So that clarifies it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep, no problem.
I have a question for you, Erin.
Okay, Laura.
Have you ever encouraged anybody to paying into staying executive so they could play in the pools?
Say that one more time. I'm sorry.
Have you ever encouraged anybody to pay into staying paid as executive in order to play in the pools?
So are you saying
let's say it's happening for John right now. One of his consultants is dropping off on his left side, so
yeah, I mean, Jen and I had to do that when we first hit executive. So it's really, I mean, you kind of got to wait, and we learned the hard way because we didn't do it 1 month, and then we would have maxed out the 1-star pool. So not carrying over one of our consultants that dropped off cost us $5,000 in 1 month because again, we just didn't understand how it worked, and we hit huge momentum at that time. It just kind of was a bad situation. We just didn't know. And so, yeah, I would say it's totally worth it. Now, if you have to order under 6 people to do it, it's you kind of just weigh it, is it worth it? And always be looking for someone new to replace that person. You don't want to have it be a consistent thing.
Totally, but people can now use this knowledge and go in and look at where they are and look at where their cycles are and all that and kind of see, okay, I'm going to pay in this much, but I'm going to make this much back in the pool. So it could be, but yeah, and then try to become organic executive, of
Yeah,
course.
and that's why, again, I suggest people don't, it's, I know the crystal executive and the crystal director, like those bonuses for hitting those ranks are really big. But that's why I encourage my team, like, just do it right. Like, if you miss out on it, it sucks. I know $1,000 is like a lot of money, but big picture, it's small potatoes. So I just tell people, like, if you're going to get to executive, you got to stay there. Like, make sure you're going to stay and you're not going to have 4 people drop off because you kind of did flimsy consultants to get the bonus. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I would say if it's what, I mean, just kind of weigh it. If you're looking at your report and you're like, I'm going to make money by doing it, do it. Or even if you're breaking even, it's worth it in my opinion. So.
Sure. Thank you.
Yep.
So I have a question to follow into that. So let's say someone hits executive and
Yep.
stays executive for 2 weeks and then drops out. Or do they have 2 weeks in the pools then?
Yeah. So, so let's just say you're an executive for 2 weeks of the month. When that little equation at that bottom, that this here where it's doing your qualified net cycles, essentially what that does is this just say you were executive for 2 weeks, and then one of the weeks you weren't executive, was a huge week for you. This equation is nice because it still factors that big week into your average. So it's not like, let's just say you had a big week and you lost your executive status. You're like, oh crap. It sucks because you won't earn as many shares overall, but that big week still gets factored in your average to boost up your shares. So essentially in this scenario, if you were only executive for 2 weeks, that you would earn half of that 11 monthly net cycle growth. Does that make sense? So it would round up to 6.
Okay.
Does that make sense, Kimberly?
Yeah, thank you.
Yep.
Awesome. Does anybody else have one last question for Aaron before we let him go have time with his family? No? I think we're good. Awesome, Aaron. Everybody take your phones off mute and just tell him thank you. He took time out of family vacation to do this for us.
Thank you so much.
Aaron.
No problem, guys. It was my pleasure. Thank you so much for asking me to be on the call. Appreciate it.
We will see you at Celebration next week.
Yeah, hold on, run quick. I'm going to go back to the beginning where I had my email address. Just write my email down. If something comes up after the call, just shoot me an email, and I'll get back to you in the next week or so with an answer. There it is there. So, or like I said, connect with me on Facebook. So.
Thanks, Aaron.
Yeah, all right, guys. Have a good day.
Bye.